Welcome to the Designing Your Wealth Mindset webinar. My name is Kim Gaxiola, and I am a certified financial planner and founder of TechGirl Financial. TechGirl Financial is a firm that helps families and women in tech live a work optional lifestyle. I have 20 years of experience in wealth management. And when you think about the day you no longer need to work, it's the day your money will truly start working for you. This is the most rewarding part of my job. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask us afterwards. But joining us today, we have two outstanding speakers. Jackie Wilke of First Trust Portfolios and Divya Gupta of Divya Nutrition and Wellness. Jackie is a second-time guest with us. Thank you so much for being here. And she is a speaker, author, consultant, and coach for select partners of First Trust. Her focus is business development and innovation, including expertise in helping financial professionals, teams, and the next generation of high net worth individuals and households and multi-generational families. She is the author of Insights and Innovations, a business development blog for financial professionals and enterprises. Divya is a holistic nutrition consultant and educator. She helps people coping with autoimmune conditions, high cholesterol, obesity, and other health issues by leveraging the power of food and lifestyle adjustments. She works in tech, but her passion for health and wellness, health and wellness, and to positively impact people's lives has led her down the path of wellness advocacy. So welcome, Jackie and Divya. Just a few housekeeping items before we get started. Let me share with you. If you have questions during or after the presentation, please send an email to victor@techgirlfinancial.com. At the end of our presentation, we will answer any questions that we have from you. The webinar is being recorded and a replay will be available after it's done to those who registered to attend the event today. Finally, at the end of the webinar, there will be a short survey to gather your feedback on today's presentation and an opportunity for you to share what other topics you'd like us cover in the future. So I look forward to hearing back from you. Today, our presentation focuses on designing your wealth mindset, and Jackie will kick things off for us, followed by a presentation by Divya. So Jackie, the floor is yours.
Thanks so much, Kim, and thank you for having me back for a second time. I absolutely love the content and how it all aligns today. Mind-body connection, our relationships with money and with our health and wellness. It's so critical, and especially after a year like we've had, stepping into this role and taking charge and understanding our choices and our options and what we can do about them and how they not just make our lives better, but the lives of those around us better. This is such an important conversation. So it's a pleasure and an honor to be back with you here today. So for those of you on the call, if you aren't familiar with First Trust Portfolios, we are an asset manager. So if you have seen us, you've probably seen us on a statement, potentially an exchange traded fund or unit investment trust. That's where we fit in. A little bit about me personally, I've been in the industry for a little over 10 years in financial services. And what I've learned is over years, especially professionally, that it is truly my foundation, my upbringing, that has played a big role in my attitudes, my thoughts, and my behaviors around money. So when it comes to women, especially, I'm one of 3 girls. I have 2 sisters. My mom worked in the financial services industry. Money was always a very open conversation in our family. Saving, investing, spending, value of a dollar, getting a job, planning for those retirement things, all of it was a very open conversation. What I found is that's not necessarily always the situation for other women. Actually, I read a statistic that women would rather talk about their plans around death than their plans around money, which is kind of frightening because as women, we are controlling more and more wealth as time goes on. On one hand, we are building businesses, we're climbing the corporate ladder, we have those side hustles. Another avenue that we're building wealth is we're inheriting wealth. So you might be passing wealth on to other generations, or you might be the recipient of that wealth transfer, or there are some big life transitions that sometimes put us in the position of decision maker where we weren't before, and that could be divorce or living longer than our spouse. Sorry guys, we're just the superior species, we are living longer. So what it comes down to, and where we always have an opportunity, is around our mindset. I'm a big believer in mindset and energy and how that really shapes our reality. So whatever your past experiences are with money, we want to reflect on them because they truly do form the foundation for what we do with money, how we see it, how we feel about it, our emotional reactions to it, how we leverage it, because money truly is power, and it's an opportunity for us to enact change in the things that are important to us, whether it's personally, within our loved ones, our families, our networks, or on a global scale. And there's a lot of layers to your money mindset. So to kind of start investing 101, it's never a mistake to go back to fundamentals. So we have a really unique investment kind of environment in the United States. So there's a different kind of investment for different people. You have your stocks, your bonds, mutual funds, exchange traded funds, like I mentioned, and unit investment trusts are typically where you see first trust. But there's a solution that's the best fit for you. It's not a one size fits all. If it was, well, we'd all have to have the same life then with that, there are also different accounts. If you think about your money as an overarching umbrella, you have different accounts under that umbrella: retirement account, saving account, investing account, maybe even accounts for loved ones, like those 529 college savings plans. So there's a lot of solutions out there. Once we know our goals, how we get there. And perspective is very important. So when we think about our money mindset, I even just talk about money, you probably have some sort of emotional reaction. You might have a scarcity mindset around it. You might have an abundance mindset around money, but perspective is very important. So this first chart, it has on the bottom a time horizon. So just before 2008 through 2020, so through last year. And on the left axis, you see the value of an investment. So if you invested $10,000 in the market just before 2008, and you let it ride, right, over 10 years later, you about double, almost triple what you initially invested in. And that's pretty incredible. But what you see charted along there are the headlines. The things that were happening locally, or not locally, for us as a country, but also for the world as a whole. The things that, gosh, we're going back to 08, right? We're going back to the bottom, sky is falling. But even though there were blips along the way, market volatility, what's important here is perspective. It's time in the market, not timing the market, that wins. And financial literacy 101 is buy low, sell high. But because we're human, we often buy high and we sell low. So just remembering that we're in this for the long haul, and it's more about our goals than it necessarily is about the performance of our portfolios, right? What do we want our money to do for us? And then are we on track to get there? Another important thing is volatility. Volatility is what often also triggers an emotional response. When the market goes up, we feel happiness. When it goes down, we feel that too, right? That emotional trigger. So this chart here goes back even further to 1980. And what this shows you is year by year, through mid-2020, market volatility. So the orange bar is how much the market pulled back in the calendar year. And if you look, there isn't a single year without an orange bar that's negative, even if it was just down 3% in 96. But then if we look at the blue bar, which is where the S&P 500 index ended, at the end of December in that given year, there are a lot more positive blue bars than there are orange bars. So when we think about that mindset, well, let's normalize that volatility. And if you are more risk on, you have opportunities to go in at a price, right? That's one of the great things about our industry is, even though it's hard to part with our money, when it is on sale, that's a buying opportunity. So why this is such a perfect topic with Divya, what she's going to be talking about is there are actually 8 dimensions of wellness: emotional, social, spiritual, intellectual, physical, environmental, financial, occupational. Now, she's going to be focusing on some of the physical and the emotional, but with that is financial. If we want to live a certain lifestyle, maybe take that hour once a day for a workout, eat clean, drink our green juice, even caring for those around us. Oops, looks like I lost connection here. We'll get that back up and going. Hear me? Okay, this is why I like to not just use the internet, but also call in. I'll get this back up and running here. But what you'll see is that mind-body connection, the emotional side of it, it's all intertwined as we work towards pursuing what we define as our overall wellness, right? Because again, if we want to be there for those that are important to us, it's really hard to pour from an empty cup. I'm sure you've heard that saying, but I think it's so true how important it is for us to make sure that we are at our best so that we can be our best for not just ourselves, but for those around us. So your money mindset. All right, looks like I'm getting back up and running here. Sorry, everyone.
Oh, Jackie, we have it. We have the slide up.
Oh, you have it up too?
Yeah. Looks like we're having a little difficulty there.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so if we go to the next slide, this is one of my favorite exercises. It's breaking down wealth as an acronym to help us define what makes us feel rich. Beyond just the dollars and cents or the zeros in our bank account, which we always love to see those growing, what else makes us feel rich when it comes to wisdom, exchanges, affluence, legacy, time, and health? And if you're thinking about where to start from this, again, we've got health right in there. Divya is going to give you some tips on that. But this is a great exercise to not just do with yourself, but maybe with your loved ones, even your children, helping them thinking about what makes them feel rich outside of just dollars and cents. So this is a great exercise and a tool for you after this. So if we go to the next slide, another important place to start to form your money mindset is goals. Why are we doing this in the first place? Goals are personal. You can read a million different reports on how women feel about money, how they think about money, but at the end of the day, it's up to you. So 3 easy buckets as you're starting to do your goal planning: liquidity, longevity, and legacy. Now, when it comes to our money, there's only so much we can do with it. We can spend it, we can lend it, we can give it, we can grow it, we can preserve it, right? So within these buckets, what do we want our money to do? And legacy is really my favorite topic of conversation because it's not just what we leave behind us when we're no longer on this earth. It starts today. What are the causes that are important to you? Are there companies that it's important to you that there's just as many women as there are men at the board of directors level? What is it that you want to see happen in the world around you? Because money is really a tool to help us drive that change. So if we go to the next slide, a lot of you probably feel like this woman, right? Typically, as women, we wear a lot of hats and we juggle a lot. And I laugh at this picture now. You can tell it's getting outdated by that laptop in the bottom left-hand corner. That thing looks like it weighs about 10 pounds. But we always have a lot going on. So if we click through once more, your plan, which is how we get to those goals, also has a lot of layers, like defining your risk. Typically, if you're younger, you're able to take some more risk because you have a longer time horizon. As we get older, we might be more risk adverse. We want to preserve our wealth more than we want to grow it. But again, it's completely personal. I was giving this presentation in Arizona, and an 80-year-old woman that attended, she wanted to go all in on pot and cryptocurrency, right? It's always up to you. But with that comes diversification. That's life 101. We never put all of our eggs in one basket, so your portfolio should also be diversified to help us achieve those goals and manage the markets. Rebalancing is also important because part of rebalancing is gathering information. Rebalancing doesn't necessarily mean trading. Rebalancing means taking a look at all the information available to us and where is the best place to be invested in this environment, which sometimes no action is the best action. Then, of course, we have those reviews and strategy sessions, which are important for us to be a part of. Getting extra education or sharing things that are helpful to us with others, and opening up the lines of communication, right? Just talking about some of these topics, sharing what we're learning, sharing what we're hearing, and asking questions that someone else probably also wants to know too. So if we go to the next slide, transitions are also a big part of that. There are the things that we can expect and things that are unexpected when it comes to life, because life is unpredictable. So when you look at your future, we want to anticipate, okay, what is it that we can be doing today that's going to maybe take some uncertainty off the table, or something's keeping us up at night? What is it that we can be doing today to help us prepare for that? Because while there are some we can plan for, some we can't plan for, there are a lot of things we can be doing when it comes to our wealth management and our financial planning that allows us to prepare for that. So if we go to the next slide, the family tree is a big part of that. So I love this concept of the family tree because it doesn't necessarily mean those that you're related to. The family tree is those that are most important to you, and that could include pets. It could include causes, religious organizations, right? Who is it that's around you that's most important to you? Because this is an incredible place to start. Sharing conversations, sharing wisdom, opening up those conversations with each other, because as a family unit, there's often a lot we have to navigate, and having a certain mindset around money and family can sometimes be challenging. If we go to the next slide, click one more. So there are several threats to ultra and high net worth families. You've got cybersecurity, of course, which we're seeing even bigger play with the pipelines and the cyber attacks more recently. Physical security, travel security, collectibles, of course, your investments, taxes, and wealth management, which aren't a threat because you work with Victor and Kim, weather-related damages, but the last one is relationships. Part of managing and navigating, especially if you are the wealth creator and you're thinking about that generational wealth that you want to pass down, how do we fortify relationships so that it isn't something that's complicated at the end? Or maybe you're thinking about your parents and how you're going to help navigate that estate transfer, that wealth transfer with your siblings. Because if we can fortify relationships, especially when it comes to something as sensitive and as triggering as money, well, we're going to have a better mindset. Everyone else around us will have a better mindset through these life transitions. So if we go to the next slide. I think sometimes we too often look at generations by just an age. I like to think of them more as a life phase. So depending on which generation you're a part of, you might be facing specific challenges. One of those challenges being maybe being in the middle, right? That sandwich generation where you're caring for your adult children, right? Maybe still financially involved. And you're also caring for aging parents, right? You're managing both sides of the sandwich generation. So what can we be doing to prepare for that? Or if you are looking at your kids, your grandkids, how do we start to introduce good habits and values that are essential to a certain kind of stewardship of wealth that are really important to us, but also letting them be individuals in the sense that they get to define how it's important to them as well. If we go to the next slide, your team is very important. So, Victor and Kim would agree too that we're in a very unique environment right now. The access to the markets has been commoditized, which is an amazing thing for all Americans. For very low cost or very easy access, almost anyone with even just $500 can invest their money in the markets, which over time is a beautiful thing, right? More people in the market for a longer time horizon. And that's what we call self-directing your investment strategy. Now, human nature dictates that if we're going to do anything well ourselves, we have to have three things: time, knowledge, and desire. So if you're on this call today and you're at a place that you feel great about where you're at with managing your money, keep doing it, right? Hopefully there's some other tools and some other insights that you're going to get out of this call that have tremendous benefit. But when we think about for ourselves, or maybe your adult children, or your siblings, or even your parents, right? The people that are most important to us, whoever we think of when we think of our family tree, if someone is letting one of those three things slip, and oftentimes it's time, it's desire, it's knowledge, it's all three combined, that is when we look to outsource. So if we click one more time, it's an opportunity for us to enable that behavioral change where your financial experts, they establish trust with you, right? They establish value in what they do for you. They lead with this educational aspect, making sure that you're always feeling equipped, right? This isn't smoke and mirrors behind closed doors. There's transparency, there's education, and regularly engaging you in the process as much as you want to be, right? So if we go to the next slide, and that's really true with anyone on your team, right? Fit is so important. And that's why I absolutely love doing these webinars with Victor and Kim, because they are truly what I think of as an exemplary team. They are not just giving you access to the markets, right? Of course, managing your money is a huge part of what they do, but they're also a sounding board, second set of eyes, not just for you, but also for the people that are important to you. They might be holding your feet to the fire or identifying unique investment opportunities where there's volatility, markets on sale. Hey, we've got some cash, let's go back in. So there's a lot that goes into finding someone that's the right fit. And ultimately, that's the decision for you, because when we think about our money mindset, there are very few things that are going to make us feel so confident than having a team of experts behind us. So if we go to the next slide, my goal, or kind of my challenge after this, is think about someone that you can have a positive influence on their money mindset. And frankly, it might be yourself, starting by redefining those financial goals, right? Your liquidity, your longevity, your legacy. Maybe it's using that wealth acronym and breaking it down to, okay, what really makes me feel rich? When I think about wisdoms, exchanges, legacy, time, health, all affluence, all of those things are a part of reaching those 8 dimensions of overall wellness. Maybe it's your sibling, your sister, whomever it is. But as we wrap up and I pass it back to Kim, that's my challenge for you here today. And I'm so excited for now, Divya, to add on to this with how our health and our wellness are just as essential to achieving these goals. So with that, I will pass it back to Kim. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here, Jackie. There were a couple really great nuggets that I liked in the presentation, and one was the generation slide. I think that that's a really great way to understand where you are in your own family in the generations. So thank you very much for that. And Divya, it is now your turn to talk to us all about what we aspire in a healthy lifestyle.
Thank you, Kim. And I agree, with what Jackie said. I love how money mindset has different layers and how mind and body are intertwined. And I was laughing and I was like cringing a little bit when she said, we as women, we rather talk about our plans when we die than about money. I think that's true for me, and I'm working very hard to change that. So super important. First of all, good afternoon, good evening to everyone, depending on where you're tuning in from. I'm so excited to be here and really sharing with you how we can work on living our a best vibrant life. We work so hard for our money. We work so hard for the future, for the financial freedom that we want to have. But how do we ensure that we can enjoy that money once we get to the retirement, whenever that is, and live our best life? And I want to kick things off with providing a little bit of background about me. This is the first time I've been on with Kim and Victor. I've known them in the past, but for the folks here, I'm an Indian immigrant. I came to the US 17 years ago from a master's. I've lived in Pittsburgh. I spent 8 years in New York City, and now I call Bay Area my home, where I've been here for the last 6 years. And I live with my husband and my 5-year-old son. As Kim mentioned in my intro, I do work in tech. I've worked in tech, so I realize how stressful life can get, what the lifestyle entails. And last year, the pandemic has not been easy on any one of us. But the silver lining to this pandemic has been our focus, everyone's focus on health. We should work on our own immunity and up leveling that. So I'm super, super excited to be here to share those nuggets with you. And again, Kim and Victor, thank you so much for sharing your space with me, and Jackie as well. Now let's diving in. I want to kick, in my experience, there isn't just one magic bullet for health, for optimal health. There isn't one thing that you can do if you just eat well and that's going to make it work. Just as Kim said, there are different layers to even to your financial wellness. There are different layers to your optimal health. And with my own journey with my own health, and while working with others, I've realized there are 4 key elements to living your best life. Number 1 is nutrition, 2, exercise, 3, emotional health, and number 4 is sleep. And they are also interconnected with each other, and they influence each other. So focusing on just one pillar and just ignoring the rest may not give you the results that you're looking for. So what I want to do today is dive into each of these pillars and share why is this important? How is it connected? You'll see how it all adds up, joins together, and leave with you with some practical tips that you can apply today. You can pick one thing in each of these areas to start living your best life. The first, let's talk about the power of nutrition. So food and nutrition is fundamental, right? This is where typically it's a beginning of our wellness journey. And I truly, truly believe it's the most powerful drug we have to prevent, to cure, even reverse any illness. The food we eat is actually information for our genes. It's actually telling our genes whether it's turn on the health one or disease. It programs our DNA to tell our genes, turn on your health, or it's healthy or disease. So it's super important what we eat. Protein, fats, carbs, vitamins, minerals, they all play a crucial role. For example, with proteins, they're not just to build muscles, they are used to repair your cells, your tissues. They are used in your hormones. They are now, with the pandemic and a vaccine, they are the key important for your immune response as well. Fats control, they protect your vital organs. They are actually carriers for your vitamins. So let's not demonize any of these food groups. Let's work towards eating a very balanced diet that your body requires. And food just not, it's just not for energy. Food is just not for calories, for, getting us out of bed, but it impacts our mood, our outlook on life, our weight. And the quality of the food matters. What we choose to put on our plates sets us up for success. We are all, I want to, all of us to realize that we are our own CEOs. We are leaders of our bodies. So let's make some good, smart decisions, at least most of the time, 80 to 80% of the time. Let's make good decisions with what we put on our plates. Now, getting into, everyone is unique, but I want to leave you with some key principles, to start eating healthy and making those smart decisions. Number 1, eat real food, fruits, vegetables, your legumes, your coconut butter, nuts and seeds, they provide the most optimum nutrition for your body. Choose organic when and if possible, because you just want to reduce the amount of toxins that's on the food. If you eat meat, or if meat is part of your diet, you want to choose grass-fed and pasture-fed meat. So you're getting the most nutrition out of the body and not digesting more toxins or any other hormones that can be fed to the animal. And if even for fish, go for sustainable fish. It's good for your body. It's good for the planet. Stay local and in-season produce to get the most bang for your buck. Going to the farmer's market, subscribing to a CSA, or if you are lucky enough to have a backyard or some space, growing some of your own vegetable. That's the best way to make sure you're eating the most seasonal product. And last one, removing processed foods from your diet. There's a saying, eat what's grown in a plant and not what's manufactured in a plant. Because the process, with my clients, that's one piece I focus on. Processed foods, it's stripped out of all nutrition and it's just filled in with chemicals, flavors, and other hormones, which are not really, your body does not know how to digest them. And that's what causes disease, unease in your body, which leads to disease. So when it comes to nutrition, let's follow these just 4 key principles to start making changes and making those good, smart decisions. Let's to the next pillar, exercise. I think all of us here will agree exercise matters, movement matters, but it's just more than just shedding a few of the pounds or just for building muscles. There are so many different benefits to exercising which are not apparent on the outside. And I want to talk about those benefits today. Number one, exercise helps reduce stress. And how it does that is by reducing the cortisol hormone, which is your stress hormone. And when we have a lot of stress, that means there's a lot of cortisol in your body. It actually leads to belly fat. And we know none of us want that. And there's a lot of insulin in your body. And with all that stress, it actually then it makes you crave different foods. It could be salty, crunchy food for some. It could be the sweets or desserts for the others. So it's not your willpower when you say, I don't have enough willpower. It's your hormones against you, and nobody will win. The hormones will always win. So exercising really helps reducing the stress. Our brain, we, as Jackie said earlier, we are juggling a lot. As we are parenting, working, taking care of elders, taking care of our kids. We need to be focused. So exercise really helps us being focused. It improves our learning, improves our concentration. It boosts our mood. And it, again, helps us reduce our stress overall. Enhanced detoxification. We could all, I think everyone and all of us could use more detoxification because we are exposed to so many toxins through the environment, through the water, through the foods we eat. No matter how clean you go, we know, there we are exposed to toxins. So we want to make sure that we are getting our body in a state where it can detox, get rid of those toxins. And exercise does that by when you sweat, it's through our skin, it helps detox. And even if you go do gentle, if you're not, you don't have to sweat profusely, even gentle circulation in the body helps us get rid of toxins through our lymphatic system. We all, want to look younger. We all, when we retire, we have the money in our bank. We also want to look younger and feel younger, and exercise can help us do that because we want our muscular and our skeletal structure to be as fit as possible, and lifting weights and exercising and aerobic exercise helps us with that. Again, all that I've talked about, by inflammation, which is the #1 reason behind any chronic disease, whether it's diabetes, cholesterol, heart disease, it's inflammation. And exercise will help reduce that inflammation, and which in turn reduces your risk of any chronic disease and gets you better insulin sensitivity. As I said earlier, when you have more insulin, you have more belly fat. And if you're exercising and your cells and your muscles are more sensitive to insulin, you don't need as much. So I hope this is motivating everyone to get moving, get exercising, but I also want to give you simple strategies. How do you incorporate exercise into your daily lives? Number one, make it a priority. We all know if it's not on our to-do list, if it's not prioritized, it will not happen. As women, we always will put others ahead of us, our kids, our spouses, our parents, or elders we're taking care of. And this may fall down the priority list, but we cannot take care of, we can't fill, if our cup is empty, we cannot fill somebody else's cup. So make it a priority, put it on your to-do list for it to happen. One simple, getting it other strategy, which has really helped me in the past year, is just getting it done in the morning. It's out of my way. I have no excuses later on in the day. Oh, I'm tired, or I'm hungry, or I have to take a call that happened. Get it done in the morning. Start your day with all that endorphins and good energy. And I've been in the past where I'm like, I'll work out in the evening after my work, but maybe I got that maybe twice or 2 or 3 times a week at most, right? So this has really helped me. And if you're not a morning person, just try it. And last is, exercising does not mean you have to spend hours in the gym, on the elliptical, or the running machine or rower, or spend a lot of dollars. Make it fun. Make it fun what works for you. Find an accountability buddy, go with your friend, go for hikes, group classes, so you catch up and you build that community while you're moving. If you're into sports, or where you played sports in the past, get back into it. Sports is great. Join a league, or find people who are into the same sport, and make it a routine to play any of the sports you like. And the last one that I love, and I personally do it, is like switch off the light, put on some music, and just dance. It's fun. It gets your body moving. It gets good energy. Music is good for you. It's healing. So these are some simple strategies. Make it a priority, get it done in the morning, and figure out what works for you. And gym is not a requirement. Now, moving on to the third pillar, your emotional health and your emotional well-being. This is such a big topic. I think we can spend the next hour on this if needed. But, I just want to point out that, on understanding your emotions and, honoring them and then dealing with them is super critical to an optimal mindset. If you're stressed about finances, if you're stressed about, what your future, it'll be hard to focus on eating right or doing our exercising. And 74 years ago, World Health Organization had defined health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. But I'm glad, but it's in recent years, there's finally a limelight that's been put on mental health. And mental health encompasses a lot of things, right? It's not just, about how your feelings, your emotions, but also a lot of stress that we all go through as well. And how do we deal with it? It's interesting. I'm going a little off script here, where, we all go to the doctor every year for a physical, to make sure that, our blood pressure, our cholesterol, everything is good. But what do we do to go and get our mental state checked? That just because it's not apparent, it does not mean we all have things, we all have baggage that we carry. And stress is, we talked about stress with exercise, how exercise helps, about also with the food, but having constant stress also leads to inflammation, which we know is number one reason that's associated with any disease. So stress, because again, going back, when you have stress in your body, it increases your cortisol hormone. It's your stress hormone. And stress is I don't want to say stress is bad. Stress is not bad. It's a very innate, it's human response from our caveman days, where we were hunters and gatherers, where we needed to have stress to run from the predator, right, in the jungle. But we don't live in jungles anymore. We live in cities, and we have different stresses in our life that we need to work through, but we need to figure out how do we manage them. And there's a term called, that I was listening to a podcast, was emotional granularity. We bucket everything under stress. Oh, I'm stressed at work. I'm stressed at home. I'm stressed with my kids. But it's going inwards. And what is that emotion behind it? And that's so they can take the right action. I'm not stressed. I'm feeling depleted, for example. And when you know that's what you're feeling, you can take the right action of some self-care practices that can help you replenish. So it's super, super important to really focus on your mental health and your emotions. Emotions are good. No emotion is bad. It's okay to feel not okay. But just let's figure out what, and let's normalize, let's have that conversation. And I said, some stress is a natural response. Stress is good for you. Sometimes we all need a healthy amount of stress for optimal performance. Look at athletes. I'm sure they go through a stressful situation, and that helps peak their performance. Before this presentation, I wasn't stressed, but I was anxious. I was excited, nervous, but it hopefully helping me, give my best out here. A little bit of stress is good. But if we keep going, if we keep stressing without taking care of ourselves, it can lead to burnout, anxiety, or panic. And it may show up in your body in different ways. And you just have to be in tune with it to understand that's what your body is telling you. Hey, I'm burnt out. I can't do this anymore. It could be body aches or muscle aches, back pain. It also could be your digestive issues. You suddenly have digestive issues. It could all be related to stress as well. And eating unprocessed foods, and again, going back to what you put on your plate matters, what you're eating matters, can also impact your mental health, because the foods, those unprocessed foods, there are certain ingredients I cannot even pronounce. You don't know how they're reacting, what the chemistry of it is once you digest them. Again, I'm very, very passionate about this topic, and it's a lot to unpack here, but again, emotional health is super important and it's linked to your overall health. Some simple self-care practices I want to share to honor yourself. First of all, self-care is not selfish. Let's all remind ourselves of that. It's not selfish. Taking deep breaths, which, and this just calms down your nervous system and raises your parasympathetic nervous system. Just even before the presentation, it just takes a minute, taking some deep breaths in and out. It does amazing things for your nervous system. Meditation and journaling, it's free. You can do it anywhere at any time. Just need a notebook. Even if it's 2 minutes, it has been a game changer for me since I've started adopting it and being more regular at it. And again, leveraging therapy. We all have trauma or baggage in our lives that if you don't process those emotions, it will show up. It will show up at different times in your body. So go to a professional if you need therapy. And spending time with your loved ones is important. Building that community is important. With last year, we had to be in lockdown, isolated, or within a bubble. It realizes we are social, we are human social animals. We are not meant to be alone. So find that community, find a community where you feel you belong. That is super important for you to feel happy and healthy. Excuse me. The last pillar, again, super important, is sleep. And again, another important factor, I think it's a prerequisite to health. So I really wanted to peel the onion a little bit, even before talking about how to sleep better and what are the impacts of adverse effects. I want to talk what happens when we sleep. I had this image of the baby here because I think if we have all the parents in here who are here understand, when we had little kids, we used to they need to sleep for 10 or 12 hours. We were so micro focused on that because we knew sleep was important for them to grow and rest. And as we become adults, it's equally as important. We don't need that many hours, but it's equally important. Sleep performs the same function. It allows our body, our brain to recover, our muscles to recover. We put our bodies through a lot during the entire day. We are always on. Our heart's always working. Our digestion is always working. So sleep gives our body okay, I need to rest and recover, our cells to recover. When we exercise, we build a heart. It really helps with the immune system, our metabolism, our cardiovascular health. All of that during the different stages of sleep that we go through, the REM and non-REM, it really helps to reinforce that. To build a strong immune system, sleep is super important. And one in 3 adults in the US have reported getting less than 7 hours of sleep per night. And that can lead to dire consequences. We as adults, we need 7 to 9 hours of sleep at least, and even more for children and teens. Now, what are some of the adverse effects? And there's tons of research here that just underscores the importance of sleep and how important it is for health and mood. So, sleep can either make or break your ability to lose weight, to age slowly, to prevent cancer, or even perform at high level. And when your sleep suffers, the consequences are beyond just under dark circles under your eyes. When if I'm sure I've experienced it, when I was a new mom, the first year when you didn't sleep, I was a different person. You have hunger cravings, your blood sugar is off balance. And, if you keep continue doing that, it will lead to diabetes and high blood pressure. Your hormones are out of whack. It makes you hungry, and then your body's trying to protect yourself. So it starts storing fat because that's how it protects itself. Again, when you talk about blood pressure or mental health, the mental health and sleep is super connected. If you are not sleeping well, if you have low quality of sleep, it could actually show up, and your mental health could be off. You're not feeling as well, and you may feel depressed or not feeling yourself. Or if you're not taking care of your emotional health, you're unable to sleep. So they are so intertwined. And there are studies and research where adults who are sleeping less than 7 hours are more likely to report any chronic health conditions, including depression, arthritis, diabetes, or asthma. So go get your Z's, guys. It's super, super important. And simple hacks, how do you make sleep a priority? Again, get on a regular schedule. 10 p.m., 10:30, 9:30, whatever that is, make sure that it's a schedule that's so you start your bedtime routine. Getting natural sunlight is super important in the morning when you wake up, because it really sets your circadian rhythm. So once you wake up, try to get some natural sunlight. I'm guilty of it. I sleep with my phone charging in my bedroom. I'm working on it. Leave your devices at the door. The blue light doesn't help. Hopefully it's on silent. If it's in a room, leave your devices at your door. And the other strategies here, it's similar to, it'll help you from your sleep and also from your mental health. Clear your mind. I know people tell me I wake up at 2 a.m. every night with all the to-dos in my head. Have a book and a pen by your bedstand. Just before you go to bed, just write down everything that you need to do the next day. And it'll try that, because at least now it's out of your head on a piece of paper, and you'll do something about it. And hopefully it'll give you a better night's sleep. Doing some stretching, some yoga, some deep breathing, just relaxing your nervous system could help you with improving your quality of sleep. Again, I want to just come back to the first slide we talked about. Each of these pillars are interconnected. They're intertwined. We saw how food helps our health, how exercise is needed. You can exercise all you want, but if you're not eating the right diet, you will not see the results. If you're not taking care of your mental health, your emotional health, it will not make you want to exercise. And if you're not sleeping well, it will again put everything out of whack. So they're all interconnected. And lastly, before I wrap up, I want to leave you with one question. If not now, then when? We are working so hard towards our financial freedom, and we want to make sure that our kids, our legacy is taken care of. So our parents, our children are taken care of. But if you don't have your health, if you don't take care of yourself, when would you? Tomorrow, we don't know what tomorrow holds. All we have is today, and we can control is what we eat, how we sleep, how we take care of ourselves. So I would like, ask yourself, if not now, then when? You are your CEOs of your bodies. And finally, if you ever want to connect with me, or if you have any questions, I would love to continue the conversation. You can, either Instagram, or just send me an email, or even contact me on my website. Happy to do that. Again, thank you so much, Kim, for having me. And super. It's the best way to spend my birthday, honestly, is to be here with everyone.
Thank you so much for being here on your birthday, Divya. It means a lot to us. And I cannot, stress how much we as women need to prioritize ourselves, because we just don't do it. We put everyone else first and not ourselves. And I tell you, I know since I've made me time like a very important business meeting, that me time, that 1 hour a day. And when the kids were young, I did it at 5:30 in the morning. I got up earlier for it, but it truly is really important. So thank you for reminding us all that. I don't know, maybe we should have a dancing party sometime in the future.
I'm up for it.
I know. I definitely would be up for it, especially if ABBA is on the playlist.
we can make that happen. When this pandemic, we did Just Dance on YouTube. Just put Just Dance and get my son to move, because we need more exercise and for us to move. Those videos are hard.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I remember that, doing some of that too. That's fun. Well, we have a few questions that have come in, and let's go ahead and answer some of those. First question, actually, I think is more geared towards me. How does your focus working with women in tech differ from another generalist advisor? And so this is a very good question. I find that specializing in working with women in tech and people that, families in general that are in tech companies here in the Bay Area, they have a lot of really cool benefits. Restricted stock units and 401ks, employee stock purchase plans, and a whole lot of other things that just can make your financial lives pretty complicated. And especially also the intertwining of tax issues that come up with all of that stuff. So also, I do really enjoy working with women in tech. I find that they truly are confident, smart, dedicated, and able to delegate. And I think it's really important to be able to delegate some of these tasks that we just don't have the time, inclination, or knowledge to do ourselves. And so I'd say that those characteristics are something that really make somebody do well with their investments and their financial plans as well. So great question. Another question that has just come up is on the topic of RSUs. What's your advice for people with RSUs? And that's a pretty loaded question there. But what I would say is that it depends, when we pull back the onion, the layers of the onion, and we look at what's important to you. Be it, being able to leave the workforce earlier in life, or just taking time off to help a parent or to help raise your kids, whatever it is, understanding what your goals are related to your life and your financial planning, and making those RSUs really work towards those goals. Because, there's a lot of things that are misunderstood there, and we want to help you make good use of them. So great question. Here is one for Divya, and this one I'm curious about too. And it is that, how do you help clients when you are working with your clients and the health and wellness side live a healthier lifestyle?
That's a great question. Like, how do I help my clients? Again, as I said, there are 4 key areas I focus on, and everyone is different. Everyone needs different coaching in each of these sectors. So for me, it's really getting to know my clients really well, understanding, what are their goals and priorities. Again, goals are important. What do you want from your health? Because I can, like any gym instructor, I can tell you what to do. My goal is not to just give you a meal plan, because that you may or may not do it. I want to see long lasting results. It's lifestyle changes, it's your mindset change. So really work with getting to know them, their lifestyle, their priorities, what are their goals, and then building a roadmap in partnership with them. It's not just my plan for you, it's our plan together that we build towards that goal. And then it's making small changes in each of these sectors. If maybe it's sleep, how do we get their sleep better? Maybe it's nutrition, and it's maybe removing a few foods, adding a few foods. So everyone is different. So it's really understanding and working on each of those pillars, what's needed, and building a plan together, and small changes. even if you do one thing, do it consistently. You'll see a lot more results than trying it out and failing. So I'm their coach, their cheerleader along the way, and keeping them accountable. So that's how I work with my clients, and hopefully they see the results of it. It's their hard work. I tell them it's kudos to you. It's not to me for making it happen.
Great. And so if there was one of those 4 pillars that we prioritize first, this is a tough one.
It is. I'm like, each one is important. But if I had to prioritize one, you may think I'm missing nutrition, but I think I will go with sleep. I think it's a prerequisite to everything. You got to get your sleep. I think I went through it firsthand. Being a young mom, I'm sure, Kim, you remember, I didn't realize, oh my God, I think the first 2 years were a blur. I feel once everyone starts sleeping better, their mental health is better, you feel good, you're hopefully starting good decisions and motivated to eat right and exercise. So I would say prioritize your sleep first.
So get some Z's, as Divya says. Well, thank you, Divya and Jackie, for being here today. We'd also like to thank everyone that participated in today's webinar. And remember, a replay will be available to those who registered for this event. Please remember to fill out the survey questions at the conclusion of this Zoom call. And if you'd like to meet with me or my team or Divya, you're welcome to send us an email. My email is kim@techgirlfinancial.com. And I'm also on LinkedIn. I'd love to connect with you there. And again, thank you everyone for attending. Thank you, Jackie and Divya, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Victor. Thanks, Jackie. Have a great rest of your day too. Bye.
Enjoy your birthday.
Thank you. I will.